What's your reaction to getting called in?
Yeah, positive. Happy to be called in. Getting that late call up again, and it seems to be the most often thing that happens, I guess. But always being ready, always being prepared, no matter what position you're going into play, whatever it may be. You always want that call, and especially when it's not expected, it makes it even more surprising and special, I guess. For a couple of weeks that you're on the standby list, so if anything does happen, there's a possibility of getting called in. So, just making lunch yesterday, and actually was going to ignore the phone call and wait to pick it up later, and looked at it and was like, oh, turned the stove off, and had a good long conversation. So really positive and really happy.
Who is it that makes that phone call?
Jurgen. Yeah, Jurgen makes a phone call, and he spoke with Ziggy beforehand, and given the green light, step in and hopefully perform, and do what I did in the past and hopefully catch on.
I know you was playing everywhere. Did he kind of mention a certain position? I noticed right back was kind of an area.
No, I think before, in the Canada game, that whole camp, I was playing center mid, and then he said before the Honduras game that if I go in, that it'll be at right back, so be prepared. So, it could be any position really. I think it'll be a little bit up in the air. But yeah, I think my focus probably shifts more towards playing a right back role. Whatever it is, just take it in stride, and get out to training. And the most important thing is still this Sunday's game against the Galaxy.
How big of an opportunity do you look at this as being able to get into the potential, World Cup consideration?
That's not, that's kind of very, very far off into the future in my view. It's still, there's still a fringe player in my mind, and until I prove otherwise, then that's, I think that's where my mindset is. But obviously there's aspirations and there's always goals. But, right now, being a standby player, and waiting to get that call, that's where your mind is. And you perform for your club, and then you hopefully get called up for the national team and show the best that you can. And whatever happens, happens. But, at this point, I just got to focus on, obviously this Sunday. And then once we get into camp, then, we'll settle into a position and see where it goes from there.
Did they give any indication as to how long you might be? I mean, are you planning on being there until the 18th or whatever?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, if I do play and I perform well, I would hope to, continue on. So I think it's a case of, if I fit into the position wherever it may be and things go well, then probably stay on. But, at this point, I think it's, a last-minute call-up, and, we'll see what happens.
Knowing the prize of next year's World Cup, did you come into this year saying this can be the year I elevate myself from a fringe player to someone who could be there?
Yeah, I think at the beginning of January, I think I saw what Zusi did last year and kind of broke into the team and has made himself a mainstay. And I think there's been a lot of emphasis on MLS players to really step up and show that they belong. And I think that taking it in stride, and I think the most important goal for me was if I'm going to perform all January for 3.5 weeks and put in double days, and I'm not just going to go through the motions. I'm going to try and be a staple, try to be a leader, stay healthy and perform the best that I can. And if I do happen to catch on, and start in that Canada game, then we'll see where it goes from there. But they're just little steps, and there's still a lot of room to grow, and still obviously me, it's just about hard work.
The vast majority of these players that will probably eventually get called into the Brazil, assuming U.S. gets to Brazil, will have started their careers in MLS. I mean, how big is MLS in producing the crop of future national team players?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the MO for American guys now. It's performing well in MLS and then catching on in Europe and furthering your career there. But I think that there's a lot of guys who have signed multi-year contracts that will end up going to Brazil that play in MLS. You look at Omar Gonzalez or Graham Zusi. If they, those guys, Beasler, if they're going, it's guys that'll be in MLS for a while. So you always want to make that jump. But when you're playing well and you're getting noticed by your national team, and you're playing in the U.S. and you're getting called in for U.S. games, then doesn't make it easy, does it?
U.S. trade.
I think guys have done well enough in MLS to prove themselves. So there's always the aspiration to go overseas and prove yourself there. But if you're getting called out for a World Cup and you're playing in MLS, you've got to be doing something good.
One of these friendlies is the celebration of the Centennial of U.S. soccer. Is that ringing true to you guys? Ring any extra meaning for you guys at all?
Well, I think there was a lot of talk in January just about the 100 years and kind of where we've come from, watching a couple videos of the history of U.S. soccer and, what we've accomplished in the past and what we've, continued to do in the future. So, I think it's an important date, just like anything. We can, mark our, 10-year history with the Sounder when that comes, and then 20. So you're always looking for little landmarks, and obviously the 100 years is extremely special. So, I think it'll be obviously a massive game, probably a sold-out crowd as well, and it'll be something great to be a part of, hopefully.
What about the game here? I mean, have you thought about?
Yeah, I mean, if I stay on that long and with the team, it's, just like the Gold Cup game, except way more people and way more importance. So, and against a really good team. And, it's always special. Those are those games that stick out in your mind, are the ones, obviously getting your first cap and having it be at home was the one that I'll always remember forever, and to get to come back and play in front of your home fans would be something special.
You take so much pride with that Sounders jersey, but when you put that red, white, and blue on there, I mean, what does that mean as a player?
Yeah, obviously it's a little bit different. It's something that doesn't happen as often, and anytime you can get to that next level and represent your country, if anybody got called in, whether it's a random guy or whatever it is that has no idea, but then you just get certain vibes, certain emotions that you get from that. And there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, and when you see it doesn't go unnoticed, that it's a little bit special.
I'm Kyle Beckerman.
I'm Landon Donovan.
I'm Dwayne DiRosario.
We love soccer. We train hard, we play hard, and we support with passion.
When it comes to discrimination, we don't cross the line.
No bullying, no racism, no sexism, no homophobia. No excuses, no exceptions.
Don't cross the line. If you're playing, training, supporting, or coaching, don't cross the line.